Greetings, guitar engineers. I'm Desi Cerna, and in this free guitar lesson, I'm going to explain how you do not need to use all 5 pentatonic scale patterns. Most players have particular patterns or portions of patterns that they favor and use most of the time. I'm going to explain why they do this and why you should do it too. All right, let's dive in. When you initially learn the pentatonic patterns, it's a good idea to learn how to play through all 5 patterns in their entirety. This will help you see how the pentatonic scale patterns work, and it'll also help you learn your way around the fretboard. It'll also get your fingers in shape and prepare you for using the scale. But after you familiarize yourself with the patterns, don't expect to use them all. And I don't think the main focus of your practice routine should be to continue to review all the patterns in their entirety. Instead, you want to get to know how the patterns are actually used in music. When you learn pentatonic riffs and solos from songs, you find that players don't use all the patterns, and they often use only a small portion of each pattern. Let me give you some examples so you can see what I mean. Back in Black by AC/DC features a riff in E minor pentatonic pattern 1, but the riff only uses half the pattern. Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles also features a riff in the E minor pentatonic scale, but it is played using mostly just a small portion of pentatonic pattern 3. Let's switch to the key of G major, which is relative to E minor. John Mayer's Gravity opens up with a lead hook that's played in the G major pentatonic, and it just uses a small portion of pentatonic pattern 4. Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix features a guitar solo in the E minor pentatonic scale. It's played entirely in the 12th position here using a portion of pattern 1. As you can see, guitar players don't typically play up and down complete pentatonic scale patterns when they use the scale in music, and they don't use all of the patterns. Instead, they usually create something simple that uses only a handful of notes. And if you want to get good at using the pentatonic scale, you need to learn how to use it in the same manner. All right, so the question is, how do you do that? How do you know which patterns to use or which portions of patterns to use? Well, it's a process. Initially, you want to learn the patterns in their entirety, so you explore your options and you know how they work on the fretboard. But the next step is learn how to play pentatonic parts from songs. Then finally, over time, you'll figure out what you're most comfortable playing and how you can best play to your own strengths. So let me talk a little bit more about how that process works. So when you learn all 5 patterns in their entirety, you're going to discover that some patterns are more easy for you to play than others. Everybody's hands are slightly different. There's going to be some fingerings that you're comfortable with and others that give you a lot of trouble. For example, when you're in E minor pentatonic, you might find that the first part of the second pattern is difficult for you to play because you have some big stretches. But I bet you find the top portion of the pattern much easier. Well, would it surprise you to know that the top portion of pattern 2 is used by guitarists far more than the rest of the pattern? Let's switch keys and let me give you some more examples. I'm going to play A minor pentatonic, and then I'm going to play the top portion of pattern 2, which is used in Breakdown by Tom Petty. Now, this riff starts in pattern 2, and it descends the scale. But notice that instead of descending pentatonic pattern 2, I actually shifted back into pentatonic pattern 1. So I moved down to pattern 1 here instead of completing that here in pattern 2, where I would have to use this fingering, which is more of a stretch. Let me keep using these same patterns, but let me switch to the relative C major. And let's think about the guitar solo in Let It Be by the Beatles. It uses a little bit of pattern 5, then it shifts into pattern 1, and it also slides up into pattern 2. The reason why Let It Be and Breakdown shift positions and only use a small portion of each pattern is because it makes the parts easier to play. You can use less fingers and you avoid having to stretch your fingers too much. I also think this approach to playing leads to more musical phrases because you avoid sounding like you're just playing up and down scales. So if you feel like you don't use pentatonic scale patterns very well, try playing only small portions of the patterns. Focus on the positions that you find to be most comfortable. That's what most guitarists do. And if you don't want your lead lines to sound like you're just playing up and down scales, learn pentatonic parts from songs that you like. Each pentatonic riff and solo that you learn will teach you important things about phrasing, timing, technique, and tone. All right, well, that's all I have to say on this topic for now. Maybe this lesson was exactly what you needed to hear, or maybe there's other things that you need to be focusing on right now to help you determine exactly what you should be working on in order to improve your skills and move forward with your playing. Go to my website, guitarmusictheory.com. Answer the questions I ask you about your playing, and I'll send you free custom video instruction calibrated to your current level. I'll show you how to fill gaps in your playing and reach all of your playing goals. Go to guitarmusictheory.com. You can click on the link in the video description. All right, well, thanks for watching. I'm Desi Cerna. Before you go, be sure to click like, leave me a comment, and subscribe. Then keep playing and stay tuned for more.